Welcome back to the Newcomers People, where I explore what it means to be an immigrant with immigrants like myself. Today, I'm speaking with Nadine Niba, I think she has an amazing career so far. She's worked with EY, PwC, and KPMG. That's three of the big four consultants. I think she just has Deloitte left. Maybe she'll still get to Deloitte. But on this episode, we explore something I think that's really important to say. Black women need less mentors, they need more sponsors. Yes, because for the black lady, she's dealing with the double jeopardy of race and gender. She's being called the angry black woman. And then she also still has to deal with code switching and the need to conform. Like that's exhausting. But this is a pretty emotional topic for me. So let's get to my conversation with Nadine about this. Enjoy. You've done EY, PwC, KPMG. I think that's an amazing career so far, honestly. And so it's we're recording this some days after International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day, first of all. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you,
Thank you.
honestly. But I think today what I want to explore with you is the what I call it the unspoken parts of walking as a black woman. People don't talk about these things a ton, and you just wrote a beautiful article about it. And I think we'll kind of talk a bit about them. But I want to even start off with the part of code switching and the pressure to conform. Like it's like it feels like you know it happens to everyone, but I think with black women is your hair is not good enough, or can you I can't hear what you're saying. I mean, that kind of stuff, or you don't
You're too
exactly you're
loud,
too loud, this
too
stuff.
aggressive. It's real. It's real.
How do you deal with that? Like, I mean, like how do you just manage it? Like, how do you manage that? How do you keep it real in all of that?
I think that I like to answer these questions from my personal perspective and the
Yeah.
way I've dealt with it. And maybe the way I've dealt with it personally has come from a perspective of advantage, which really helps me because I have so much self confidence inside of me that when I get those little microaggressions, I I brush it off. I just say to myself, that doesn't define me. That's not who I am. You do not understand me. I'm still continue to do my thing and shine anyway. I give myself this pep talk all the time. But that doesn't change the fact that it negatively affects you as you try to climb the corporate ladder. I'm just very grateful that my foundation was very solid. The 6 years I spent at EY, it was nothing but positivity being spoken into me day in, day out.
Oh, that's
That it
beautiful.
really built my foundation. That regardless of everything else I've faced along the way, it has been very difficult to break that foundation. And I'm really thankful for that. Every time I talk, I always say I'm so grateful that EY was the first place I worked and it formed me, and the people that I worked with, I'm still in contact with all of them right now. They still speak life into me until this day. They still believe in me until this
Gosh.
day. That's how grateful I am for the relationships I formed while I was in that firm. Yeah. But this is a real thing. And I've also gotten to places in my career where I've really literally broken down and cried and said to myself, why is it like this? Why do you always have to say, "Oh my gosh, she's so aggressive. Oh my gosh, she dresses so sassy." I've been told you dress too nice to come to work. Yeah, I've been told that. And a lot of times I I've fallen victim to I always want to keep my hair straight. I don't want to wear my afro out because unconsciously I want to blend in. Sometimes I feel that way, but there are other times where I'm like, no, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of trying to talk like them. I've I've been in a couple of events where I've spoken, I've given speeches. People have walked up to me and said to me, "Oh my God, you didn't change your accent." And I'm like, yeah, this is the way I've been talking since I came from Cameroon. It's English. It's good English. Do you understand it? Why do I have to twist my tongue? Do you understand me when I talk? So yeah, all these little things in yeah and there that I've seen other women change so much trying to fit in, that if I don't speak to somebody for about 3 months or 6 months and then I meet them again, it's almost like I'm not recognizing who I'm talking to and the person I spoke to just 6 months ago, because they've changed this year and changed this there and changed this there and changed the way they talk because they want to fit into a certain environment, and then uniqueness get lost. Like, what's the purpose of diversity? The
Yeah,
beauty in diversity is we accept people for how unique they are, and together we form a body that each of these uniqueness has a part to play. But
yeah,
if everybody has to speak the same and look the same and dress the same and reason the same, where's the beauty?
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
yeah.
And so
It's
black women are
tiring.
faced with all these things that um I've had women tell me, "Oh, my boss told me that, oh, they are not comfortable with me being the face of having conversations with a client because they don't like the way I talk." All of these things limit progression. If they are not comfortable putting you as a face of discussing with a client, are they going to be comfortable making you a director? And you know that the pipeline gets smaller and smaller
As you
when it
grow
goes up.
older,
So you're
yeah.
not going to be the favorite choice of candidate with all of these little things.
Gosh, like that's and it's and is that it's kind of this it kind of leads us to that thing about you talk about where you say the that double jeopardy of race and gender. So it's almost like it's like you're black,
Yes,
then you're a woman. So
exactly.
literally it's like it so like for me, so I'm a black male. So maybe I get some advantages because I'm a man. But
Yeah, so let me tell you the difference there. So the black male gets a pass for being authoritative. Well, you're a man, you're supposed to be authoritative. When a black woman tries to be authoritative, oh my gosh, she's so aggressive. She's an angry black woman. So that same quality that is seen as a positive in other people becomes a negative in a black woman. So that's where that double jeopardy comes in and plays against them. I've been told so many times that I'm too authoritative for a woman. What does that even mean in a workplace? To be too authoritative for a woman, right?
I don't even know what to say honestly. I don't even know what to say because gosh,
Yep.
we've got work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to take away from the fact that a lot of work has been done.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
agree.
but
I
there's
agree.
still a long way to go. And in the article that I wrote, I spoke about too much mentorship and too little sponsorship. These women have been mentored a lot.
Gosh,
Yeah,
gosh, so good.
they have been mentored a lot. What we need are the people that will sit in those rooms and say, I think she can do it, give her the opportunity. Because that is how those decisions are being made, right? Yes, we have like, there's always mentorship this, mentorship that, this person is your mentor. Yeah, that it, what we really need is those people who are the decision makers in those rooms putting our names forward and saying, give her the opportunity regardless of how she talks. We understand her. She's capable of this. And quite frankly, I'm tired of people thinking that when we talk about opportunities for black women or maybe diversity in hiring and thinking, oh, we are saying give people opportunities that they are not qualified for. That's not what we are saying. We are not saying give people opportunities that they are not qualified for. Black
Yeah.
women are one of the most educated set of people. These women go to school, get all the certifications, they understand their onion, they know how to do the job. I'm not a diversity hire. You see, that's not what I'm saying. Don't put me there because you need a rose cherry saying, okay, we have this black woman. No, that's not what I'm asking for. Right? I'm
I
just
hate
saying,
that term, man. Like I hate
exactly.
that term.
Exactly.
Gosh. Like I hate to use the word hate, but that is one term I hate because all I see is just someone. trying to mask their bias with a term that looks nice. Like, you know how when you found a term that allows you to sneak under it and claim that you're not a biased person.
Yeah,
You're biased. What is a diversity hire?
exactly.
Like, what does it mean to be a diversity hire? So what do we now call people who use connections to get jobs? What are those people?
Networking hires.
Exactly. When you get jobs because your dad knew someone, what is that?
Mhm.
You know, this thing says reminds me of something. I saw there's a podcast called the Pivot Podcast. I don't listen to it. I saw a clip of this fella Anthony Mackie. I think I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. The Black Captain America.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he said, and it was heartbreaking to listen to. He says that we lie to our kids that opportunity doesn't come because you work hard. Opportunity comes because you know someone in there. That so telling our kids work hard and you win, we're lying to them because literally you can work hard all you want, but you get the opportunities because someone says you deserve the opportunities. Which is why sometimes you see people who you absolutely know that they don't deserve to be here, but they're there because someone is speaking for them. And it goes back to what you say about this too much mentorship, not enough sponsorship. You can mentor black men all you want. If you don't sponsor, if you don't speak up for them, then please just stop. Like, can we just stop pretending? For me, that's
yeah,
like, let me know where I stand with you so that I also know how to handle myself. You know, because why are we pretending if we don't want to do it? Like, what are we pretending
yeah.
for?
I don't want to discredit that hard work is important. Hard work pays. Hard work is important, but the two have to go hand in hand. You have to work hard for the sponsor to be able to say, wow, this person is hardworking. I can bet my name on them.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because it's a reputation thing. A sponsor doesn't want to put their name on the line if
Yeah.
they think that it's going to impact their reputation. So work hard to show yourself approved. It's in the Bible, right? Study to show
Yeah.
thyself approved.
Yeah.
So get your foundation right. The thing is, most black women have had their foundation right. They've put in the work. But now somebody needs to speak that word to get that door open. So we
Yeah.
need more people to step in and speak those words. The difference is with us, you're a black woman, one, you have the double bias, and then you are an immigrant, which also means that you don't know so many people in high places,
Yeah.
right? So what's the future for you? I've realized that it's never an issue giving people entry level roles, mid management roles. They will easily give that. But when it comes to giving them senior leadership roles, they start pulling their feet. Um, oh, she's a black woman. She's probably going to be too aggressive. Oh, is her accent going to fit in the uh high society? Let me use the Bridgerton term. Yeah, is her accent going to fit in? What kind of hairstyle will she be presenting herself with? All those kind of things will now start making them pull their feet. I don't think she's gonna fit in. Maybe she's gonna be determined too aggressive. Maybe she's going to be the angry black woman. So all these little stereotypes that come into the picture and just pulls the black woman back. But we need to break these stereotypes. That's what I'm saying. We need to act. We need to break these stereotypes. And one way of doing this is actually having people sponsoring these women.
Yeah. I mean, like first of all, I want to acknowledge you're right. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, I agree with you on that. And maybe I didn't come try. I agree. Like, you need to put in the work. I think for me, the way I see it is you have to work to even give yourself a chance of a decent life, no matter what happens, because you can't control that. But again, then back to the point of what we're saying is that yes, you have to do the work, but then we also need the sponsors. And I think the
Yeah.
final bow on that is that yes, we agree. There's a ton of work that's been done. I mean, although I usually do say that I think what I've made peace with, even though my emotions sometimes get the better of me, what I've made peace with is that these things probably take longer than we want it to take. And
We
I
have to be
think
patient.
our job is to make sure that we don't pass on our struggle to the ones coming after us.
Yeah.
I think that's our job. I think that's for me,
Yeah.
like that's what I mean. My emotions get better, but that's internally that's how I like to look at it. That my job is to ensure that my two boys live a much better life than I lived. But and not in terms of how much they make, but in terms of how much access they have to society, how
Yeah.
much they are accepted. And so I have to do the work as much as I can do right now so that they don't have to always prove themselves like I have had to always prove myself. No one's going to tell them they need to go and do speech therapy because they can't hear them well. Someone has told me that before.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
yeah, that I need to go do speech therapy. Like, you need to go see a speech, and let them so that you can speak properly. And it took me a while to get over that. Like, I stopped talking in meetings after that. I would just keep quiet at work.
Of course, it's gonna impact your confidence. I know what that feels because at some point in my career, I've felt that on the job where I think the whole essence of me was just rejected. The way I talk, the way the way I react, the way I dress, and then I just got to a point where my mental health, it took a toll on my
Of
mental health.
course it will.
Yeah, because I was like, all of me is not enough. Should I even keep talking?
But what I'm curious about is, or what I always like to kind of highlight is, you know, people talk about resilience a lot. I mean, I do want to start. I saw something some days ago. I don't want to be resilient enough. I want soft life. You know, I don't want to be said I'm resilient. However, I still want to ask is that if you think about your journey so far and all the things, what skills or strengths do you think this has built in you that shapes the lady who I think is doing amazing things today, honestly? Because listen to your story and the things you're doing and all you've gone through. I'm like, yo, you were breaking barriers, honestly.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of resilience and tenacity and a lot of hard work. But I won't discredit that. I think I've been lucky because there are people who have worked harder than me.
Yeah.
I've been lucky because I met the right people. Like in my like if you listen to my CPA podcast, I spoke about my CNRL manager sponsoring me. She saw how hard I was working and she just took me out and asked me, "Hey, Nadine, you work really hard. I admire it. Where do you want to go?" If she didn't do that and acted as a sponsor, chances are in the peak of the downturn in oil prices and the cargo economy going down, I would have stayed home and not had a job. And I wouldn't have been where I am right now. So somebody sponsored me.
Yeah.
So I believe at that time, the few jobs that were even available will have come with very high referrals and recommendations. But I was 2 years or a year and a half into Canada at that point. Who did I know? To speak to somebody, say, "Oh, I know the perfect person for the job." Somebody sponsored me, right? So that's the element of privilege in my story because without that person believing in me and sponsoring me, I shouldn't have had the amazing career trajectory so far that I've gone across three of the big fours. It wasn't planned, but I'm very proud of it.
Oh, you
I'm
should be.
actually yeah, I'm
You
very
should be,
proud of it
please.
because I've got to see the best and the worst of each of these firms, and I can take all of these learnings and help a company go, go from point A to point B, right? Yeah. So I worked really hard, crazy hours, very long hours, a lot of patience, a lot of tenacity, a lot of faith in God, but most importantly, somebody who was in the system believed in me, and that is why I insisted on the importance of sponsorship for Black women. They need the sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like you said, it's a two-way street. It's you put in the work, and then the sponsorship comes. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that it's still one-sided. It's like the black women are putting in the work, but we don't have enough people who are saying they
Yeah,
want to
yeah. We
sponsor
don't
them.
have enough people who are sponsors, and we need that. We need that. Yeah, there are so many mentors. Yeah, there's so many mentors, but we need the opportunities. We need the opportunities. Yeah.
Staying on this point about the journey so far, how has your sense of identity changed over time. You spent so you moved from Cameroon, young girl, eager to hit life, and then you get here 10, 11 years now. Like, who's Nadine today compared to the Nadine that moved here?
The truth is that my sense of identity has not changed. Who
I
I
love
am
that.
has not changed. I just have a bigger title now. I still speak the same. My accent has not even twisted one bit. The way I speak today is the way I spoke 20 years ago. Nothing changed because when I left home, my upbringing, I believed that I was the best of whatever you could think of out there. I believe I spoke impeccable English, and I believe I spoke as clearly as possible for even the layman to understand. And so when I got here, I owned it. All I knew was I need I needed to learn uh accounting the Canadian way. I came from Cameroon where we practice Ohada accounting. That's French accounting. There are some differences. So when I got here, I needed to learn Canadian taxation, Canadian business law. I needed to learn how to do things in the way and manner that it's done for the environment where I'm in. So what I did was updated the technical knowledge that is going to be applicable for the Canadian society. Because if I have to serve Canadian clients, then I have to serve Canadian clients in the Canadian way, not the Cameroonian
Yeah,
way.
yep.
Yeah, that is what I updated. That is what changed. But everything else about me has stayed the same. I've been just as authentic and as natural as I was from my days of a child because I didn't think my accent was second to any other accent. I definitely don't think my hair is not as beautiful. I love my hair. I speak a lot about owning who you are. I believe I'm a very beautiful woman. I don't need to change anything about myself. I don't need to change the way I talk. My confidence is still 10 on 10. I only get more confident, which sometimes intimidates people, but I'm fine with that. Yeah. The only thing I keep upgrading and keep updating is my technical knowledge on the job.
You're special. Honestly, you're special. Honestly, because I mean, I am struggling with confidence. I feel like my confidence sometimes is like 6/10. Honestly, I mean, people think I'm confident. I think I'm the most unconfident human being ever, if there was, because I doubt myself a lot. I second guess myself. I mean,
Yeah,
the things
things
that
can happen. I've had those moments. I've had those moments where excuse me, I've
sorry, yeah,
experienced situations at work that have made me doubt myself. And I think that if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, it's best to take a break, to remove yourself from that situation so that you don't go through that downhole of losing your confidence and your self-esteem because anybody, a woman, a man, you're nothing without your confidence.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
done for.
don't ever let it take a hit.
You're done for. Y- There's something you said I found really interesting about your upbringing and stuff. And how do you maintain connections with your people back home? I assume your parents are still in Cameroon, right?
My parents are actually in the house with me right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
my mom came. My mom has always been visiting, but this has been her longest visit. She's been here since February 3rd, and my
Uh-huh.
dad has been with me longer than she is. But outside of that, my family is very close knit. We're so tight, and so we talk to each other like we are friends all the time. That's the way I was brought up. That's the way I was brought up. I'm not afraid to approach anyone, regardless of your age, size, class, heritage. Yeah, I'm not afraid to approach anyone. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to speak my truth. It can sometimes get you into trouble.
Yes.
It can sometimes get you into trouble.
Oh
But if
yeah.
it really affects me, my livelihood, my progress in life, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, we need to talk. What's going on here? You spoke to me this way. I think it was not appropriate. W- Did I offend you? Is Let's talk about it. Right. I don't believe in being treated as a second class human. I completely hate unfairness. I hate it when it's done to me. I hate it when it's done to others. I think that if you see somebody being treated in a way and manner that they should not be treated, you should speak up. You should. Because if you watch it and stay quiet, it could be done to your child tomorrow. It could be done to you. If you feel, oh, I'm too accomplished, I'm too big, it cannot be done to me. Where
Yeah.
you have kids, you have sisters, you have brothers. So I think we should be each other's keeper in a way. Yeah.
So, thinking about how close you are with your parents, during those moments when things have felt like a bit down, do you tell them about it or do you just chest it yourself?
I tend to be somebody who bottles things in a lot, but right now I'm learning to speak up. But I'm also being careful because my parents are older and I don't want them to be in a state where they're always worrying. If I tell my mom I'm not okay, she's not gonna sleep. 3
I
a.m.
know, I
She's
know.
disturbing Jesus. Like
Oh gosh. That's my mom there. My mom would do that, honestly.
she's like, Jesus, my daughter. Mm-mm, Father, you are not sleeping tonight.
Oh gosh, like that's my mom. And when you were moving, what did you think Canada was going to be like? And
Oh
what
my
did you
goodness.
what was it like when you moved?
Oh my goodness. You see, we need to do a better job educating people back home. Because I don't know if it's the pictures or the Christmas videos, the
Oh
snow and
gosh.
the beautiful winter clothes that when we are back home we are looking at, and we think when you come here, you're going to be plugging money on the trees, the land of milk and
Oh
honey.
gosh.
No.
Gosh.
You're going to go through a year or two of absorbing the shock, trying to break all entry barriers before you even get into stability. But I
Yeah.
think it goes along with the four seasons of life, right? You begin from struggle to stability and then to success and then significance. I think that I seriously went through all four seasons when in my immigration journey, because the first 2 years of being in Canada, I was like, did I just make the worst decision of my life? Should I go back? What is going on here? Don't you talk about the winter and the cold. It was horrible. It was the culture shock.
Yeah.
I remember my first week at work. A friend said, "Oh, it's my birthday. Let's go celebrate." I have no money, and we go to the restaurant and I eat because I'm hungry. And then the bill come and I'm giving my own bill, and I'm like, "Where I come from, you pay for everybody." I
How
have
did you sort that out?
I think he ended up paying, and then when I got paid at the end of the month, I sent him an interact. Yeah. So
Damn.
yeah, the culture shock was real. In the struggle phase, yeah, it wasn't up until I found this manager at this job that believed in me, and using her sponsorship, she helped me get into my season of stability. But my struggle season lasted for close to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have what they call the honeymoon phase? The honeymoon phase is when you move, everything looks all rose colored for a bit, and then it hits you like a bag of rocks, and you're like,
Of
God.
course, that's about a month or two for most people.
You're like,
That's
oh,
about, yeah. I'm
hooray,
here.
hooray,
Let me
hooray. Okay,
take pictures. Let
you're
me
like,
play
what?
with the snow, and then
You're like,
boom, got there are bills to pay.
what is going on here? Or what did I
Yeah,
just do to myself? Should I have moved? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think the biggest struggle for me is that, and that's part of why I'm doing this podcast, is that people talk a lot about all the basic things. You need to get a house, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, those things are the smallest things you're going to struggle with as an immigrant, because those things
yeah,
you can find them. So you see things like, for example, finding a sponsor,
yeah,
networking,
hmm,
rebuilding social capital. Because, like, for
yeah.
example, you move here, you pack your life into two suitcases, you drop all the social capital you've built for the past 20, 30 years of your life whenever you move. Here's what's even crazier. You also discard your parents' social capital that they've built that you could have taken advantage of,
That
and
you
then
could have
you
tapped into. Yeah,
then you move here, and then you have to start building again. And here is where it gets crazy. You have to build for yourself and for those coming after you. Then no one also talks about the fact that as an immigrant, you're expected not to fail. You have
Oh
to
yeah,
succeed.
you have to
And
succeed.
and then everyone else is looking at you and waiting to say, "Oh yeah, I told you, that's how they are." So you're basically carrying the pressure of your community on your shoulders as you walk around.
You see, this thing that you just said is one of the things that make us immigrants sell ourselves short in the job market. So then you come, there's a pressure not to fail. You want to get a job so bad, and then they offer you your first. You don't even negotiate the salary, and then you start the job. You realize that every other person on the same level with you is making at least $30,000 more than you. Why did I just shortchange myself? Then then disgruntlement and anger sets in, and then oh you're like, okay, now I need to leave this place. At least I need to look for another job. That's one. Another thing is just generally having the mentality that you were being done a favor, being given that job,
Oh
and so you
gosh.
become the yes sayer.
Oh
All the job that
gosh.
nobody else wants to do, you are the one who wants to do it, and then before you know it, you have lost your dignity and self-respect in that workplace when they're thinking about promoting people. Oh no, this and no, 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 no. Lillian is a yes sayer. Everything you want. I doubt if she ever stands up for herself. But Lillian is there thinking, I'm such a hard worker. I'm getting everything done. Maybe I'm going to get rewarded for this hard work. But then you're just in there, just being grateful that you were given a job and just saying yes to everything. And at the end of the day, it negatively impacts you. And then you even find yourself dealing with burnout, right? This is different. The mentality of feeling like somebody did you a favor, giving you a job, when in reality it's an exchange. It's an exchange of my skills that I went to school and acquired, bachelor's, master's, PhD. Some black people are a set of the most educated people you ever come across in this life. You've studied up right up to this level, and you come here and you're reporting with somebody who has a high school diploma, and you're just very grateful that you are there and you have this job. I'm not saying gratitude is a bad thing, right? But some confidence is required,
Yeah.
which is going to affect the way you even carry yourself on the job and what BS you tolerate or not versus not tolerate. This, what I just explained, is a different subset, completely different from um black women having to do three times as much the work
Oh
to
yeah.
get 0.1% of the credit. This is real, right? This is completely different from the the mindset of, oh, they did me a favor giving me these jobs, I'm going to do whatever and anything that gets thrown on my table. We need to be really confident that we deserve it. That's why we are there. Because trust me, if they didn't see the value in you, they won't hire you.
Oh yeah. They won't.
Yeah.
No,
If
they
they didn't
will
see the
not.
value in
Which
you,
is
they will
which
not
is why
hire
that
you.
diversity hire conversation is always irritating because
Yeah.
no company is going to hire you because they wanted to
That's doing
fill a
you a
spot.
favor. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No.
in the West, where every dollar counts.
Exactly.
Jeez,
And even
no.
if you hired me as a diversity hire, it's because it's giving you some value.
There's that.
You wanted to fulfill some righteousness of a checkbox, whatever it is. That is value.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
that.
So if you say, oh my God, okay, yeah, Nadine is a diversity hire, well, that's because they had a need for that, and they looked around and they saw that I was the only one who could fill that need. I'm still feeling a need. You're not doing me a favor.
Yeah. We're rounding up right now, so I have probably like two more questions. I think the first one for me is, first of all, thank you for that. Like, thank you so much. Is knowing how close you are to your family. I know your mom and dad are here now, but what did you have to leave behind physically and emotionally? And do you still carry that with you today, or have you replaced
Oh,
those
I
things?
left my entire family behind when I came. Everything. I came with one box. Everything was left behind. Mother, father, I was 23 years old when I landed in this country with a box. It was my first move out of my parents' side, this long distance. That was difficult. And then, coupled with the fact that I had no money, I had to have a place to sleep, sometimes sleeping on the floor, no food to eat. At that very young and tender age, God, I had to, within a very short time, ensure that my family meets me here, because I don't think anything can replace the physiological safety that your family gives you.
Yes, nothing.
Yeah. I don't think if I go out to work and I'm having a tough day, by the time I'm driving into the garage, my dad is standing at the garage door ready to give me a hug. Yeah, like, I know it's tough out there, but don't worry, I got you. That's everything. That's everything. In the last 3 months, every day I was coming back from work, my dad was standing in front of the garage door waiting for me just to give me a hug. That meant everything.
That's
So a lot of
beautiful.
immigrants are young, they don't have their families around them. And so when they go out there and they're facing all of these challenges, they come back and lay on an empty bed on a pillow and cry and wake up to a soaked up pillow with tears. And they still have to put a strong face and go back to work the next day because they have to feed, they have to pay rent, they have bills to pay. So they're struggling on the work front, they're struggling personally. Nobody there to really speak to or talk to give them that emotional net. It's tough all round. It's really tough. But they go through all of this and they still succeed. That's why, like, when somebody says, why do we even celebrate Black History Month? If you look at the struggles that these people go through, and even being immigrants in this place, and the challenges and the barriers that they face, and they come back home, this is not their home country, they have no family here, they cry themselves to sleep, they encourage themselves by themselves, they go back out to the war front. It's worth celebrating every bit of it.
Hmm. I wanted to just kind of. I wonder if that's part of also why we can understand, or we can give some grace to the people who fall into the trap of being grateful, or being the yes person. I'm not saying it's okay to do,
I'm
but I'm
not
saying that.
saying is gratitude should. I'm very grateful for my sponsors and the people who have given me opportunities along the way. I'm saying that be grateful,
But
but don't
oh,
lose your confidence in the process. Don't treat yourself as this. This I'm second to the being of this person. No, we are equals. We are equals, right? And we should all be grateful for the opportunities we have. Grateful to God for life and everything. But there's a very thin line between gratitude and feeling like someone is doing you a favor and then sucking
like
up to that
servitude,
person.
almost like the
Yes,
servitude is
yes.
almost,
So
yeah.
so that's what I'm trying to differentiate. And I want this to be very clear, because a lot of times I've posted on my wall that nobody is doing you a favor giving you a job. You were hired because you're qualified. It's not to say don't be grateful for having a job. You have to be grateful for having a job and do your best and be diligent at it. You
Yep.
have to. But don't take the route of feeling like a servant and thinking that if I don't do A, if I don't do B, maybe I don't know how to explain it. There's a very thin line between just sucking up and being a slave and saying, I'm in this room because I deserve to be here. I'm going to own it. I'll wake up every day. I'll go in there and I'm going to be fire. I will do my best, serve my clients with confidence, with my head up high. That's what I want. And it helps for you not to fall into a victim mentality. The reason why
Yeah.
I'm able to overlook a lot of the little microaggressions that will be said to me. Oh my god, look at the way she dresses. Oh my god, see the way she talks. Oh my god, she's so loud. And I'll just look at them and say to myself, you really, I say to myself, you don't know better, and none of this is gonna stop me from carrying myself the way I carry myself, because I know that I deserve to be there. But if I have the mindset of they're doing me a favor, when I start hearing things like that, I'm only going to get into a deeper hole of losing my confidence and losing my confidence and then trying to do a lot. You know, when somebody in a relationship and somebody is trying to overdo to make you like them, doesn't it have the opposite effect? You
It
end up
does.
not liking them. So that's it, is that effect, is that's the part I'm talking about. No, carry yourself with confidence. I deserve to be here. I worked hard to be here. I'm grateful I was given the opportunity. I'm going to make the best use of this opportunity because I deserve it.
I don't think I should ask you another question because I think this is a really beautiful place to end this because honestly, that is everything. Is honestly that is everything. You know that point about the balance between gratitude
And
and
confidence.
accepting that you're worthy of what you have.
Yeah.
Because yeah, as immigrants, we tend to do this thing where we think we're not worthy enough of it.
And that is what I don't want. That is what I don't want. Yeah, be extremely grateful for every opportunity that comes your way, but walk in it knowing that I was the best candidate. That's why I was chosen.
Yeah.
And that mindset is going to roll with you throughout your tenure in that place.
Thank you, Nadine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like, thank you for the passion. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. Because even you were advising me, Seth. Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You know, I kind of like where that ended. It's important to be grateful, but don't lose yourself in the process. You deserve it. You do. As always, thank you for getting to this point of it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. If you know someone I should talk to, please send them my way. And as always, please like, share, subscribe. We're on Substack, we're on YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcast, you can get. Just type the newcomers and you'll find us there. Peace out.